We'll get it figured out.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. We said we're in the darkness. It's very bright near the lights. We could set it right up there with our back to the windows, but
We didn't one time, and then we look like angelic. I mean, I don't want to go that far because I'm not angelic.
you don't want a halo on your head, an aura around you.
Now, you could probably get away with it, but no, not me.
No, I don't think so. Speaking of something like auras, you've ever heard of Reiki?
I've heard of it, but I don't know about it.
how it works. But there are some people who are Reiki masters, I don't know how they do it. They get trained, and I can't figure out how they do it.
Is it similar to Chi? Or Ki? However you pronounce it? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
When we did Sanchin and stuff, you call it your centering, your Chi, or whatever it is. I don't know. I can't get that mystic. I'm not that. I'm religious and holy, and I believe in that. But some of these are kind of at odds with me. I don't understand how you can,
Yeah, some of the Far East stuff I have to watch, because to me you start getting into things that, for me, that, like you said, go against my Christianity. So.
Yes.
I mean, it starts delving into things that's New Age, or, kind of New Ages, or spiritual, and, the Bible tells you not to get into divinations and
Idols.
mediums and idols or any, you're not supposed to go to soothsayers or, that's the one thing. If you call a psychic and they don't say, well, hey, Karen.
See, that's it. If they can tell you.
Why am I trusting them with my life if they don't even know my name? Couldn't they have gotten a feeling that this is Karen? I don't know.
Well, you see, angels come in all different forms. I could see that. Because, you look in the Bible and, the angel of the Lord appeared. But some of these things are a little.
And sometimes when it talks about the angel of the Lord, it's talking about like Jesus coming.
Yes.
Down to earth. You're looking at a different kind of, it's the angel, it's the Lord Jesus.
Yes, actually the one, I was telling you about that one infancy gospel of James, and they talked about the appearance of the angel of the Lord, and in that they said it was really Jesus.
Yeah,
so it was before Jesus was born, but they believe it was.
But Jesus was with God.
Jesus,
he's always been there. The Holy Spirit's always been there. He didn't have to be born to be Jesus.
Exactly.
He was just sent to earth in a human form.
That's right.
But so he's always been there, and people don't realize.
That triumph, the Trinity.
And if you look through the Bible, you can see him show up in places.
Yes, when they say like the angel of the Lord, and then it's like, oh. It was really when Jesus came. So yes, it was, so
I think it's pretty that part is pretty interesting.
Oh, it's so interesting. And I know that we are supposed to be non-denominational, but we can't get away from our spirituality and our religious belief. It has to come in, because it helps us in what we believe in everyday life and all of these things and the occurrences that happen.
Yes, once you're a Christian, then it affects everything you do.
Everything, and I find
it
that
should. I'll put it that way. It should. There are some days that we don't respond the way we're supposed to. Not you. She's more.
I'm old. But
no.
But was the thing. See, something happened very good yesterday.
And so we give credit, right? The word credit is due.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
all day long.
We know that it's only...
Because, and you gotta understand, folks, okay? And I know that there are people who believe in mystics and everything else. But I'm gonna tell you up front, I'm a Christian. And that's the way it's gonna be.
Me too.
Okay,
I can't deny it. And I don't want to deny it.
And I have great faith. And prayers work.
They do.
And I try to be humble. And sometimes if I'm playing a game here and I get arrogant, he makes me drop all these little plastic bottles and the other team wins. He keeps me humble.
You're just competitive.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, but
You don't like to lose when you don't have to.
No.
You're just competitive.
well, I sort of like the game. It's fun. We have a lot of fun, and with a lot of the seniors here. But you have to have. I don't know how people can go their whole life with not believing. And in fact, one of the people
Believing and trusting.
Yes.
There's two different things.
Yeah. You have to, yeah, I believe, but do you actually believe? Can you put your trust? Can you say, it's all yours, Jesus, please, you know?
Mm-hmm.
To the point where you tack it on the cross. It's like, please help me.
Well, I always like that verse. And you know what the guy says? Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief. Because I believe that there is times, you know, that our preacher puts it sometimes that we know God can do it, but do we believe that he'll do it for us?
Okay.
And I see that because, you know, there are times it's like, there are times when I believe, but I also, we don't know the outcome. And if you trust him, you have to trust that he's sovereign. So no matter how it comes out, you have to trust that he's got the bigger, he sees from a macro view.
He knows what's going on.
So I may think this is the best solution, and it's not the right solution. So that's where trust and, you know, help my unbelief to just try to, just be with me to help me.
And sometimes what happens, you are just like, wow. And I mean,
Oh yeah, sometimes
wow.
we're so blown away by everything.
Wow. And it's, amen.
Because, you know, usually when he fixes things, he fixes it to where it won't break again.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's
it's you know, he's,
prayer, yes.
it's, and so when he does things, because like he said, he sees all the moving parts that we don't.
We're doing this is going to be a religious one, folks. And Turning Point is non-denominational, but
It's a part of healing, though. Your spirituality is part of healing.
And something occurred yesterday that helped somebody heal, and it was tremendous. And in my mind, mind-boggling that, whoa, these prayers have been answered.
Well, you know, you can heal the body, but if you don't heal the mind and the spirit, then you're not totally healed. And there are people that do go through things and they might come back from it physically, but they're not there mentally or spiritually. So you've got to, your spiritual part is part of your being.
All of you, yes.
Every human being seeks a divine source.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Calm the mind, heal the body, and build a healthy spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You need all. I have a little prayer that I have that in, and I'll be honest. I have a little card of people's names, and I read that card, and I put all these people in that prayer, and please, I want to be humble about this, but when I say somebody at church says, well, if you say you're going to pray for somebody, then do it.
Right.
You know, and sometimes I forget, so I have to write them on a card.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes the list gets kind of long.
Yes.
I've been hearing about people lately and stuff, and different things popping up, and it's like, oh my goodness. So
they need.
But then you should also go in there and mark it off when it gets answered. Because then that gives you, because he does tell you to write things down so that you can go back and you can look at these, and there'll be stepping stones and faith builders, so you can go, no,
Good idea.
he answered prayer then, he did this. Because some things take years. Some things go quickly, some things quickly.
On his time.
No, because everybody's on a journey. And, just because I pray for you, he may be working things out in your life that I didn't even know.
That's right.
So things that I didn't even realize needed to happen.
That's right. You just...
So I have to be patient with the timing, and that's when sometimes we can, and I think that's where sometimes we can lose hope or lose faith or get that unbelief coming in because it's taking so long and we don't see anything. So it's, Lord, I do believe, but help my unbelief in those times when I feel like nothing, because we don't work in the seen all the time. It's the behind us, it's the unseen that we're working in.
Yeah, we can't get instant gratification. We have to understand that he knows what's going on.
He does. And sometimes, yes. I mean, I've seen people trying to get a doctor, and they can't get a doctor, and then finally they get one, and it's better than they could have ever imagined.
That's right.
I mean, so it's like, okay, you get so frustrated, it's like, why can't these people get in? And then they get in, and it's like, man, that was so much better than we ever imagined.
It's like I was supposed to have my hip surgery April 2nd of 2020, COVID year, and they moved it to February 13th, and I was 8th on the list. Now, that just doesn't happen that easily, because by April 2nd, they didn't have surgeries. They closed down because of COVID. So I would not have been walking well. I wouldn't be out here doing all of these exercises with everybody like this, Anyway, so...
You remember that song, and I know it was probably back from I would say it's back from the 80s, maybe 90s, but anyway, sometimes you have to thank God for unanswered prayers too. Because sometimes you pray for something, and then God saved you from something that you should not have had.
Okay, I don't want that path. Okay, got it. That's right, yeah.
Yeah. You look back and you're going, okay, thank you for not taking me down that one. It's...
It is. So, we got off on...
I'm not, the Reiki stuff and all, I don't know a lot about it
I know, and some people, they're churchgoers and everything, but they do Reiki, and I guess I just don't understand how you pull whatever ails you out of your body and then just throw it away. You know what I mean? It's kind of a mystic thing to me. How do you do that? Meditation, no, I believe you can meditate, because in terms of meditation, it's time for prayer.
But I did listen to a girl recently, and I want to say it was on Instagram, could have been on YouTube, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look it up. But she used to be into yoga. And that was definitely like transcendental stuff and everything. And so she realized, she thought she was doing right and stuff in the yoga and all, but she said that no, she goes, even the positions, the chants, everything, when she came to know Jesus, she realized, and she had to turn from it.
I saw that video.
You did? It's amazing.
I did. It was about 2 years ago. I saw that video, and because in its exact same video.
Okay.
I'm sure it is, because you're describing exactly what I saw. And we did not talk about this before, but she did. It was how that study was more of a going the wrong direction.
Because she even talked about how the chanting is supposed to invoke some things. And so you have to watch all this stuff coming into your life, coming into your home, coming in. I do believe too that I try to watch things that I bring in my home. And because, you don't want things to come into your home. And I guess it's because I've been reading so much in the Old Testament lately. And about how how God was talking to him, and how God was talking to Moses and telling all the Israelites and stuff, all the things to be wary of, because, they were getting ready to cross into the promised land, but there were still going to be people that were not believers in God. They were not, because you can't say Christians at that point, because
No,
Jesus
they
wasn't born.
mostly-
But
yeah.
they were not.
Idol, most of them were
They were
idol.
idol worshipers. And so, and so some
Wow.
places, and remember when he killed the whole family because they took stuff because they shouldn't have brought it? And,
Yes.
I mean, so he did not play with that stuff. So I don't want to play with it again. And like I said, maybe it's speaking to me again because I'm going back and rereading through it. But I try to just be careful of some things because, I do believe in spirits because I do believe spirits attached to things. And, you want your house to be, because I was actually thinking about it the other day. I was like, I might mark something on the doorway of my home.
Holy water.
Because, I do pray, I will pray over my house, I will pray over
There's a
I will
circle
pray over
prayer
people's homes and stuff. If
that-
they're having issues and stuff, I would go to their house and lay hands, going to different places and done that. But yeah, no, because I feel like it needs
Oh,
it.
we do a healing prayer, at church every now and then, and it's it's really dramatic for some of us. And there's circle prayers that you can say. And I have one, and I actually walked around my house outside, going around and around and around saying the prayer. Circle me, O God. Circle this house, circle us, protect us. And,
Yes.
and
All these things are important in your life.
they are, and I know this is, I see a path, and my path is leading me, and I guess it's up there, he's making my tongue wag, because that's the way I feel after things that have been happening. And we are actually going to go on a special retreat in May for a few days. And I'm looking forward to it.
You probably come back even more refreshed, huh?
Yes, spiritually, yes, I think so. Because you gave me that wonderful book that I read through, and then I have another book that I read through, and then I have another book and the chosen book that and the thing that I find so fascinating is sometimes all three of the books that I'm reading are covering the same topic, even though I'm out of order, I'm on page 35, or this one's on day 37, but it's really funny how they may be talking about, two of the three talking about the same topic. It's very interesting. And you don't make these things up, you have to. And I'm a science person, I don't care what you say, I am a science person, and I believe science, but that bright light that started the whole thing, I don't know anything about it. And my brain isn't big enough and qualified enough to even figure it out.
No, we're too complex for a bright light to have started us. Why not? Why there have been another bright light since then done anything? Just like, why aren't we still evolving? Why wouldn't there still be? I just can't. My mind can't grasp on something. And I don't even want to go there.
I said, yeah, let's just, I'm going to stay with my belief. Now, I was headed for Farmville yesterday, and I have a whole section, what I call my church music, which is really my elevation music, all my fun things, all those that I have on there. And I'm praying and I'm singing to the songs, and I have my procedure taken care of, and I'm on my way home, and I called my husband, I said, I'm going to go to Bible study. He goes, well, so-and-so and so-and-so are coming over. I'm like, I'm coming home.
Okay.
And it was wonderful. I needed to be home, and it was great and fun, and
and those are the times that you don't want to miss, because sometimes, we get so intent on some things, but we have to be flexible as well.
Yes.
Because those are those opportunities and stuff.
It was a God moment.
Mm-hmm. I love the God moment.
It was like, okay, I'm on 460, I was gonna go back to Victoria, I'm gonna turn here at Twin Lakes Road and head towards Green Bay and cut across that way. And I remembered the way, I haven't been that way in a while. And all the while I'm singing away, and doing my songs. But again, you have to, and there was no doubt in my mind that was the path I needed to take. It was, yep, you need to be there. And there's where I went, was home. So,
I we can say, God is good and all the time, God is good all the time and all the time God is good.
And I read things that they say, ask God for what you want. And I feel kind of strange. I'm not going to pray for some material thing anymore. You know what I mean? It's not, I pray that yes, I keep my health and my family's good and I don't want to see anyone starving or anything else, and I want to, we're going to another bison hunt.
You're getting another bison? Have you finished the other one?
No. Do you want more meat?
I might.
Okay. I told you how much a 4-ounce burger is over in South Hill. Do you know how much you can get a 4-ounce quarter pounder?
At which?
$3.13.
Okay, yeah, they usually have the bison burger, and it's really good.
It's $25. Good. So, as a funny note here, our bison meat, ground meat, comes in a package that's probably 2.5 to 3 pounds. It's worth $100 package. And we share because that's what we do. Because we did not pay $25 a quarter pounder to go hunt a bison. We didn't, And God said you needed to, He put these animals here for us to eat, and they're good meat. We've given it to people who need protein, a high source of protein. They need that. We give it out. Go ahead, And I think we still have some boar that we have to cook up and give that away. But that's what, we do, and
that's what God tells us to do.
Yes, and I feel it's the right thing to do. So yeah, you'll probably get more. I made tacos with the bison meat. It was really good. I got 2 packages of the mix, the original mix, and I used a whole package of the meat. You don't have to drain it because there's no fat in it anyway. It's like, okay, I don't have to drain, I gotta put water in. So we had soft shell tacos, which was really, really good. And it was, again, a very blessed meal.
Very good. That's exciting, isn't it?
It is.
I always like to hear stories where I see God's hand move. And I listen to things that show me those things because it encourages you.
Well, so we came in today, I said, he's got to go back up there on the shelf because this is in a St. Luke's, which is a shrine, and the original cross is here and back, and he looks over us, and he's at one end and the sun is coming through the other, and wow, it's quiet. And many souls have gone through this church and prayed and believed, and you feel a calmness. Just reminds me of any church that has peace involved in it. Does. So he's back up there. My husband put him back up on the shelf. He needs to go back up. I need to see him up there so he can look over us. But that's how we are. And I'm not going to change. In fact, I'm probably going to get worse.
Well, we're getting older, and all we have is our legacy.
Yes.
And for me, if I don't pass on my legacy of faith, then everything else, nothing matters. It doesn't matter that, it doesn't matter if my legacy of faith, that's the way I look at it.
I agree completely.
I can't force it on anybody. I can't make anybody do it. But if I've not tried to pass on my legacy of faith, then everything else I've done for you or my relationship with you has been moot. Because, it's going to be great that we had coffee. But if you didn't know that I loved you and I love Jesus and that I want you to love Jesus, then the coffee was just coffee.
Just coffee. It's nothing.
It's a priority in my life at this point.
The material things you'll get, my kids, but I hope you take and keep all my Bibles and read them.
And your prayers, and,
Prayers, yep.
you know, it's,
Try to have your faith and trust.
I've actually written like a book for my grandkids. I'll have to let you look at it.
Oh, that would be great.
And I'm still tweaking it. That's why I haven't, I was hoping I was going to have it together for them for Christmas this year. But it's my faith in walking through some of the things in life.
That's a great idea, because there's some things that I could pass on that's unbelievable. That you can't, you don't make these things up.
No, and you know, and one day, we both know it at this age. One day you're going to wish you had a parent, a grandparent, somebody that could sit down and go, you know what, it's going to be okay, and let me tell you a story why.
And yes.
And it's because of what Jesus had done for them and showed them, and to give you encouragement. So, you know, if nothing else, if for posterity, but one day you're going to want that.
That's a great idea. I have some stories that I love to pass on, because the end results, you don't make these.
Once I kind of had it figured out and some more, I was going to let you look at it and see what you thought. Because I would love critique. I finally had read it to Bubba, and Bubba was like, he was amazed that I had done this. But I was like, well, I feel very strongly. I feel very strongly about it, because at least you will have my words.
That's true, and some of us have some great words.
And your kids are some of your grandkids are so little, but you can't tell them about dating. You can't tell them about the first job. You can't tell them about driving, picking, you know, because they're so young right now, they wouldn't understand it.
They wouldn't.
But if you write it down, you know what I'm saying?
Well, our daughter said to me, did they have cars when you were little? I'm like, yes. We were beyond the horse and buggy stage. We
were pedaling with our feet, but we had them.
And that's right. Let me tell you about telephones. They were party line. Did you have a party line?
No, Bubba did. No. I lived places that were civilized.
Jeez.
No. We were military, so I guess, I don't know. We lived on military bases, and I never had a party line, so, but when I moved up here and Bubba was telling me about it, it was like, he was like, yeah, you got to be careful. He said, if you hear clicks, it's because the other family's on the line or something, and certain rings and stuff. It was your ring to pick. I was like, where have I stepped back into? I felt like I was in like Twilight.
And you had an operator, and you told him, I don't even know if we had phone numbers. I don't think we even had phone numbers. It just hooked me up to because they knew everybody in a small town. And I remember that the lady across the street, we used to like to listen in on hers because she had gossip.
Yeah, I think that's why some people really enjoyed it.
And we'd say to her, oh, you might need to get on the line. Hey, would you please get off? We need to use the phone.
But when you're on a party line with your grandma, I think he was on a party line with his grandma, so you don't want to talk to your date or your girlfriend on a party line with your grandma. Oh, did I pick up by mistake?
Or, what you do is you pick it up because you don't want to hear the click. And you start listening like, oh, all the gossip in town. And you got it that way. And it had a certain ring, so you knew which one was yours. And then, of course, you got to the rotary dial.
Yeah, by the time you dialed it, something else could have changed, and then we went to doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Oh, the punch, yes. And so now we're at this. Mm-hmm. And what an amazing world.
It is, what you've lived through, so.
Yes, from, some kids said, the cans you put up to your ears with the string. I said, I never could hear anything, but I don't know, mine never worked, so I guess.
All right, guys, it was fun today, so hopefully you got something out of this today, and I think we did.
Yeah, we did.
All right, see you later.
Be safe.